Today, we're going to do something just a little bit different. Oftentimes, when you come to this YouTube channel, you are getting leadership tips and tricks on how to make your leadership better. But today, what I want to do is focus on one specific request that came to me from someone who is looking for coaching. And I want to walk through this one because she is an ideal client for coaching. I can tell by every word that she put into the request. However, there is something that needs to happen first. She needs to shift her thinking before she would get the max out of any coaching that she would do. And so I'm going to walk you through what her request was and also the fear and the trepidation that I can hear in her words. Because what you'll notice is she wants this big, beautiful, impactful version of leadership, as so many of us do. And there's just some things about like just being a woman in leadership that is so compelling and so revealing that we need more, right? We need more women in leadership because they think about things like how it's going to impact their family and the community and the greater organization, not just how they're going to move up in title and in rank. And the other thing that she's a little worried about is how sustainable any amount of leadership would be. And if you have ever felt like that before, like, I know I could make an impact, but at what cost? How sustainable is going to be for me? Or is it going to become this hollow version of leadership where sure, I have a great salary. Sure, I have a big title. Sure, it sounds impressive, but I know that I'm doing it without the impact that I want to make. Or I know that I'm making an impact in one area of life, but I'm completely burning out, crashing and burning in another one. And I want it to be sustainable. And if just in this brief intro, you're feeling like, yup, that is me, even before you hear her actual words, you are thinking, this is me, then I want to invite you to the Lead Like You Mean It masterclass that we're having on April 28th, because we are going through what it means to be the type of leader that you want to be without sacrificing the time with your family, without sacrificing your time at work so you can make that really impactful, objective impact that you want. And how working with your team to empower them and lead leaders creates the exceptional leader in you. Go down below into the show notes and click that link to register for the Lead Like You Mean It masterclass if you know that, yep, that is also you. All right, let's dive in. I am going to read you what she said, but I'm also going to put it down in the comments so that you can see this and follow along with me because it is just so valuable. And I think you will very likely see yourself in these comments. So, what she said to me was, I want to grow in my career in a way that creates balance across my life, supporting my family, contributing meaningfully to my organization, and maintaining my own well being. I don't want to burn out. Instead, I want to use my energy to build strong, high performing teams and create lasting impact. My goal is to grow in a position of meaningful influence, not just through title, but through the ability to shape decisions, develop people, and lead with intention. I want to be an example of someone who achieves success while still living with humility and simplicity, and who prioritizes work that benefits the planet and future generations. To pursue this path with clarity and accountability, I am seeking a coach who can help me align my growth with these values, strengthen my leadership approach, and build a sustainable, purpose-driven career trajectory. So much power in those words, right? And you have probably felt bits and pieces of that, and maybe the entire thing spoke to you. Maybe you're like, man, Kelsey is me, and she wrote exactly what is in my brain. And so I want to break down for you 3 things that I hear in this that just show how exquisitely Kelsey could lead if she were to take the next step. Now, mind you, that next step is really shaping her brain around what is possible because she's holding it in 2 separate hands. I want this, but at what cost? I want this, but I don't want to sacrifice my life, my family, burning out at work, or having this impact feel hollow? And if that is you, click the link below to join the Lead Like You Mean It Masterclass. That is the exact next place that I would tell Kelsey to go based on what I am seeing here. So, the first thing that I am seeing out of Kelsey is that she's doing something that women often do. And it cracks me up because we think that it holds us back. And oftentimes we're told that it holds us back, when in actuality, it means that we are amazing strategic thinkers. So, what is Kelsey doing? She is thinking in webs. Thinking in webs Thinking in webs is of critical importance when you are going up to the higher levels of leadership. I'm talking about senior manager, director, vice president, that executive level, or C suite even. You need to understand how everything you do impacts every other stakeholder in a decision within the organization, your customers, everything. And when you look at things that are just right in front of you, right, you miss everything else that it touches. We were just talking about this with my kiddos because my three boys living out here in rural Wisconsin, they love to hunt, and they hunt things like squirrels in the backyard at this point. And when they're able to go out in different seasons, they hunt with their dad. All they're thinking about is the squirrel that's in front of them. Yes, they make sure that there's nothing dangerous in the background that they could hit if they shoot at it, but they're only thinking about the squirrel. They're only thinking about the fact that they want to hunt that squirrel. They are not thinking about what that would do to, the squirrel family. They're not thinking about how that's going to impact the, ecosystem of the forest. They're not thinking about any of that. They're just thinking, I'm hunting squirrels. There is a squirrel. Nothing will get hurt or broken. I will shoot it. That's it. And it's this very simplistic thought. And that's what people who think inside of a box actually get. And maybe it's bigger than a squirrel, right? Maybe you're thinking about, we want to save expenses on paper, therefore we're going to go paperless. And you don't think about how that's going to impact, the people who it's a big part of their job to keep those copy machines running. Will they have enough work to do? Is there something else for them to work on? You're not thinking about the folks that are going to gain efficiencies by not walking back and forth to the printers all day long. You're not thinking about how that's going to impact, Betty Boomer over there who has everything in paper, and how it's going to be more difficult for her to do everything she does because it's on the system now, because she has to log into everything to be able to see it. It's not that you would change the decision, but if you only think inside that little box of this is safe, this will accomplish the one goal, I'm going to move forward, just like my boys are doing when they're shooting the squirrel, or my husband's doing when he's going hunting. It's just that you understand that there are other things to account for. There are other things to make sure that they work well. And so what Kelsey's doing when she says that I want to grow my career in a way that creates balance across my life is she is telling me right off the bat with those first few words in that first sentence that she thinks strategically. She wants to support her family. She wants to contribute meaningfully to her organization, and she wants to maintain her personal well-being. Now, I would venture to say that supporting her family and contributing meaningfully to the organization would help maintain her well being. But at this point, what she is seeing is that these may be at odds. And while she is hopeful that that is something that she will be able to achieve, she is worried that these are going to pull apart, because the very next thing she says to me is, I don't want to burn out. So she knows, she has this seed of belief in her head that says, this is a risk and I don't want to take it, right? I have this idea, I have this hope that I am hoping that you as a coach can get me there. But there is this risk that I do not want to get close to. So she has this fear, but she also is showing me that she knows that each one of these decisions is going to link together. She also brings us back around in the thinking strategically to say that she wants to pursue a path with clarity and accountability, and that she is going to grow with her values. That is the goal. She wants to strengthen her leadership approach and build a sustainable career trajectory, something that she can build off of and continue that web through herself in her own career trajectory, and also by strengthening everyone that she leads. It is those very words that tell me that she is nearly ready for coaching. She just needs to shift this mindset of thinking it's either this or that. It's either I am a capable, strong leader who can impact lives within the organization and outside of it, or I'm going to burn out and fail, and actually see that it is because she is a capable leader that she will not fail, that she will actually support herself and her family and not burn out because of it. All right, so that is the first thing that tells me that Kelsey, as a woman, is just going to be an amazing leader when she can get her mind around this, is the fact that she is thinking in webs. The next one is growth, okay? The way Kelsey is looking at growth is not, I want to make it to the next level in my career. That would be a version of growth, right? That would be a really short-sighted, maybe in the box way to think about growth is, I am here and I want to go there, okay? That's not the way Kelsey's thinking about it. The way Kelsey's thinking about it is this sustainable version of growth. She's thinking about it in terms of, how does my growth affect everyone else around me? She wants to use her energy to build, quote, strong teams build strong and high performing teams and create a lasting impact. That is a different kind of growth. That is a sustainable type of growth, right? She wants to grow in a way that is sustained. It reminds me of a tree, right? When you see a tree growing, it's hard to even fathom that it started as a seed. A tree started as one little seed that went into the ground. Think of like an oak tree with an acorn, right? It is this tiny little thing compared to the overall tree. And it falls to the ground and it seeps down into the dirt. And it doesn't just grow to become a really, really big seed. No, it grows in all different sorts of directions and with all different sorts of pieces and parts that are going to branch into different parts of the world, right? So let's break that down. That seed is, again, not going to become a big seed. It's going to become roots that anchor that oak tree into the ground and make it strong and allow it to pull all of the nutrients that it needs. Totally specialized, body part of the tree with a totally specialized um, uh, growth product, right? It's going to do its one job. It's going to pull that nutrients, pull that water out of the ground. That seed is also going to grow up into this thick, strong trunk with layers and layers of wood as well as bark to protect it on the outside. So many different pieces of the tree are coming from this one seed as it grows. And we didn't even get to the branches and to the leaves and everything that's going to grow from the top, right? Now, what is the next thing that tree is going to do? It's going to create a legacy, which is the very thing that Kelsey is going for when she talks about that growth. It's not just about her growing from the seed that she is into the tree that she wants to become. It's about creating that legacy. There are more acorns that are going to drop from that tree. And some are going to, fall away and become food for those squirrels. And some of them are going to plant themselves in the ground and become even bigger, stronger trees than Kelsey was to begin with. That is the type of growth that she desires. And while many women wouldn't go into that exact detail on how they want to grow, that speaks to you too, I am sure of it, because it isn't just that you want to become a bigger, more impressive version of yourself, You don't just want to go up to the next level of your career. What you want is to have the sustained growth that creates an entirely different entity, not a bigger seed, an entire flippin' oak tree that also allows for other seeds to grow and flourish because of what you are able to do. And that is exactly what I see in Kelsey's post here. When she says that she wants to shape decisions, she wants to develop people, she wants to lead with intention, that tells me that she wants this type of sustained growth that can only be accomplished when you live in an identity of leadership. Now, what she needs isn't a step-by-step program, right? I mean, maybe she does. Maybe she'll get to the point that she will need kind of those tips and those tactics. But before she can get there, she needs to wrap her brain around what it means to live in that identity. And that's what she's asking for here is I want to be the person who can do this. And you don't become that person by having the tactics. You become that person by identifying as them today. And again, that is exactly what we are doing in the Lead Like You Mean It Masterclass, because that is where we are going to rearrange that furniture in your brain to become the person who doesn't see themselves as a seed that can get bigger, who sees themselves as the oak they are going to become. All right. The final thing that I see in Kelsey's letter here that is telling me that she has what it takes to become that exceptional leader is her humility. When Kelsey's talking about everything that she wants to achieve, first of all, she uses the word humility right off the bat. It's right in just the meat of everything she's saying. But it's also in the fact that she is asking for help. She sees her potential, at least in part, because that's why she wrote this to me. That's why she put together this whole request. But she knows that she is not equipped yet to get there on her own. She needs the support of someone who can help her wrap her brain around it and then give her the steps forward so that she can live into that identity of a leader that she wants to have. What I read in Kelsey's post here is very meek. And I know that it's kind of a triggering word for people. When you hear about meek, especially if you're in kind of the Christian realm, they talk about women being meek often. And people equate it with being soft-spoken, with being weak, with being very quiet and in need of protection, when in actuality, that is not what it means at all. When I say that I see that Kelsey is meek in this request, it shows me that she has the power. That's what meek means. You have that power within you. You have that fire, that heat to be able to accomplish something amazing. But you know how and when to restrain it. Someone who is meek is incredibly powerful and strong, but does not just walk around showing off that strength. They have the humility to say, there is more that I can learn. There is something better that I can become when I work with someone else, when I lean on the knowledge, the experience, and the strength of someone else. When you're meek, you know that you are restraining what you're capable of for the right moment. You're holding back because it's just not necessary for you to push hard all of the time. And so what Kelsey is showing me here is that she has everything she needs inside of her. Her first step is to believe it. Her first step is to understand that that identity is something that she can fully grasp onto so that she doesn't have to have the fear of burning out. She doesn't have to have the fear of failing and just becoming this title with no substance behind it, this hollow version of a leader that I can tell by reading her words she has rolling around in the back of her head. But instead, she can leverage what an experienced coach and mentor can offer her to become the strongest version of a leader that she could ever hope to be. And not just at work, right? We can take this all the way back to her beginning. She wants to grow in a way that creates balance across her life. She can lead in supporting of her family. She can lead in contributing in a meaningful way to her organization. And she can lead herself and her own well-being. She can lead in a full and robust and complete life that she loves. But first, she has to own that identity. Now, again, I would encourage you to jump to the comments and read her actual words. See what of those words speaks to you directly, and know that if you are feeling any piece of the same way, if you can see that you also are thinking in webs the way she is, if you can see that you also desire sustained growth, and that you have this sense of humility that is going to allow you to take that strength and push it forward, then I would encourage you so strongly. You need to sign up for the Lead Like You Mean It Masterclass on 428, because it is in those 60 minutes that you are going to transform the way that you think about leadership so that you can become the exceptional leader that you want to be. All right. I hope that this was helpful for you. If this is something you want to see more of, where we dig really deep into a specific request and what other leaders like you are saying, let me know that in the comments, and join us on 428 for the Lead Like You Mean It Masterclass. I cannot wait